and he could talk about it on his podcast. Because from 176 to the next, we got to talk about podcast P, man. And the P is for pause, because podcast P, Paul George, that is for those who don't know. He said he's taking a break from podcasting, and I'm gonna try to get this quote right. These words are real small, but he said, "I want to let the podcast P family know that after today's episode with Dwight Howard."
Wait, why you make that face?
Because right
Dwight
after
Howard
that,
been making his rounds, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Dwight Howard also has a podcast. It's kind of entertaining. I'm not even gonna lie.
I want to say, outside of the other stuff with Dwight Howard, I would say he kind of got a run like Jameis Winston, where wherever he goes is just like, man, it was a good story. Yeah. But so he said right after this episode with Dwight Howard, I gotta grow up. Anyway, I plan to take a break from the pod just to focus on getting my body right, getting my mental right, and help the squad push towards the goals to finish the season out and give ourselves a chance in the contention to compete for a championship. I'm not mad at that. Is this a good or bad decision for podcast P?
First of all, I'm gonna just say this: y'all done bullied this man off his own podcast. That's what really just happened here. He got bullied off his own podcast. Social media wins yet again. Undefeated. A million-time champion. Social media bullied this man off his podcast. Me personally, I don't have issues with athletes having podcasts, but here's the thing with Paul George. It's the stuff he say on his podcast and then he doesn't follow up. For example, I'm about to be back on my bully. Didn't look like a bully in the playoffs at all. Show you why they call me Playoff P. Nobody called you that.
Where's Melo, man?
Nobody calls you that. And then it's the stuff he says. It's like he talked the talk, but he didn't walk the walk, which made people mad about the podcast. And instead of just moving, keeping the podcast about, sports, talking the game and stuff like that. You say what you're going to do in a pod, but you don't do it on the floor, and that makes people more mad, and people already act like you can't be an athlete with a pod you got to choose one, which is preposterous because they have extra time outside of basketball. They're going to do something. Whether it's not the podcast, it's going to be something else. Me personally, I'd rather be a podcast than, that some teams had to deal with, some people used to do. I mean, you had people. No offense, Tomo. You didn't have.
I already know,
Cowboys,
man.
So I'd rather them been the podcast Cowboys than the cocaine Cowboys. So
hey, they got rings. You know what? Yeah, you're right. The podcast.
Leave that out.
Yeah. Because I'm just saying, man, they won with the extracurricular activity. All the podcasting leads me up in here, going back and forth with everybody talking about Dak being close to the Eagles. I'm just saying, my life was a little bit easier back then. Even though I wasn't young.
But that's the thing. It's just he kind of overhypes it on the pod and doesn't. He oversells and underdelivers on the pod, and that will make people mad. So am I mad he's taking a pause? No. But is the pod the reason why he's playing the way he's playing? I don't think so. But again, to wrap it up, social media wins yet again.
Hey, I'm with you on that one because the podcast for them athletes, it's not like you said, they're not really going into fine detail about politics where you got to do all this research. Like, you really just go on there, they bring up a few topics here and there. Sometimes they even ask them just about the game. And it's not that hard for you to talk about just your game. Now, when you come out there and you start saying, I'm back on my bully, I can see how the fan base is going to start to say, all right, bro, you said that, but you're only averaging 16.2 points a game. Like, that's been the lowest since like 2014. Like, bro, what's going on with you? We know Paul George for getting buckets. You left the Clippers, and then you did that whole podcast where you saying, you know what, I'm back on the East Coast. My girl family and everything's over there. We're closer to their folks. Everybody's like, okay, cool. You coming over here, new scenery, got you. And then you proceed to still play like this. It's like, wait a minute now. Did we get Podcast P or did we get Bradley Bill? Like, what's going on, bro? Like, what's going on here?
Bro, you always gonna find a way to bring up Bradley Bill.
I'm doing it for Kevin Durant. He won't say it, but I'll say it for him. Because the Suns not looking bad, not looking good right now.
What?
I said, not looking good. I had to correct myself. All right. So the fan bases, and then you in Philadelphia. Like, if you was in DC doing this, I could see the fans being like, you know what, the Wizards not good anyway. Paul George is Paul George. Continue what you want to do. You're in Philadelphia. You see what they say about the Eagles when they're winning. So imagine what they gonna say to you when you're losing and doing a podcast making false promises. They're gonna kill you. So I understand the mental part there because it's like, bro, you walk past these fans every day and they're like, Paul George, I see you getting a microphone, but can you get a bucket? You can't deal with that every day, bro. So him taking a break, I hate the fact I'm with you on that. I hate the fact that they bullied him off of it, but it seems like the fans is more on they bully than he is. So Paul George, you take the break and you still averaging 15, you might as well keep doing the podcast, bro. That's all I'm
I'm
saying.
saying I don't think the pod is the reason why he's balling and he's not looking like the Paul George of old. I just don't think that's the reason. Could it be an injury? Could he be washed? I have no idea. But I know one thing: it's no way it's the pod, but it's just the pod. It's the optics, the perception of him doing the pod and not playing to the standard that he set for himself that got people mad.
Yeah, I'm with you too. Like, imagine if Paul George was in the club every night, and ended up with a jersey saying Rosebud across it. I'm just there's so many reasons why you could talk about a player and y'all get upset when they get on the microphone. I'm with y'all because Michael Parsons does it a lot. So, but he actually balls out in the game. What Michael goes wrong is he talks about other players so great that it's like, bro, you forgot you on a team.
Yeah, see, and then there is Slay. That's why I tell the Eagles fans, watch their mouth when they talk about my dog Slay. They was killing Slay. They wanted Slay off the team halfway through the season. I ain't forget. That's why I remind y'all in the chat every time. Watch y'all mouth when it come to my dog Slay, because y'all wanted him off the team. Y'all was like, man, he a leader, but he too friendly. He too this, he too that. Bruh, it's outside of the game. You think he this friendly during the 60 minutes? He playing against these boys? No. But when I know they wanted him gone when he did the pod with Micah, they wanted him out of there.
And you know why they really wanted that? Because it was the whole CJGJ comments when Michael was going smack at him, and Slay was like, "That's my dog," but
But nah, it was even then they was like, man, I wish Michael Irvin would have did a podcast with somebody from the Eagles, or I wish da would have did a podcast with somebody from the NFC East. And I'm like, bro,
I
first of
think
all,
they
podcasting
was
wasn't even out. They probably didn't even know how to work a camera.
they
Second of
weren't.
all, never mind. I'm gonna say that to myself. Never mind.
I'm gonna say it for you. They weren't doing podcasts together. They was doing a little bit of something else. I'm just saying. There's documentaries on these things. Y'all can go look this up. Just saying. That's why they was all ready to fight after games. It
Hey,
happens.
speaking of documentaries and outside activities, man, don't forget Lake Minnetonka or whatever that was in Minnesota.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd rather you podcast, bro. Trust me.
I'm telling
A
you.
lot of different avenues that they can go down that you don't want them to go.
I was watching Cocaine Cowboys on Netflix, and they was talking about the Super Bowl. They was like, "Man, we had a whole bunch of Steelers and Cowboys over here." I'm like, "Wait, come on, bro.
That
You're not
Viking
supposed to
scandal
say that."
still crazy.
So, would you rather them partying or podcasting?
Give me the pod.
I'll take the podcast too. I'd rather deal with the nonsense in the media than the other nonsense that be going on. But teams got to find a way to win. Everybody got to find a way to win. And this team found a way to get out of the basement. Y'all ain't been doing nothing but winning.